The Chicago Cubs outfield is about as confusing and log-jammed as any positional group in all of baseball. There's a lot of moving parts, guys with different skill sets, contract implications. We dive into all of it, as well as what the true future of the Cubs outfield will look like. And let's begin with Kevin Alcantara, with someone who has been through the ringer already. For his makeup, he's 6'6", 190 pounds, nicknamed the Jaguar, and that's because he can fly. He's got pop, he sprays the ball all over the field. Alcantara came over from the Yankees system in 2021 and then came over to the Northsiders pipeline. Made it to AAA in 2024 and did his job and then some. 292 batting average with 5 home runs, 22 runs batted in 35 games with an OPS of 848. What held him up was the strikeout rate. It's been his Achilles heel for a while now. Alcantara is hyper-aggressive at the plate. He's hovered around a 25 to 30% strikeout rate at some of his stops on the way up the minor league ladder. Debuted in the majors in 2024 and went 1 for 10 over 3 games. A little more action this past summer in 2025. Went 4 for 11 at the plate with a run batted in over 10 games. Do I think Alcantara is in the big league picture in the outfield? No. Great athlete, wiry frame, and I do think there's a major league future somewhere, but just like how the Cubbies offloaded Alexander Canario, I think Alcantara is the next domino to fall as this team fledges out the future of its outfield. Owen Caissie's up next. 65 grade power on his way up Chicago's pipeline, described as a powerful left-handed athlete and a good bat for this team. The Canadian-born second-round pick from 2020 actually came over from the San Diego Padres and had the Cubs coaching staff drooling by the time he got up to AAA Iowa. For all of 2024, he put up 19 home runs, an 848 OPS, and 75 runs batted in over 128 games on a very talented AAA Iowa Cubs team. In 2025, the numbers got even more absurd. 22 home runs over 99 games, hardly over half a season for Major League Baseball sample size, and a 937 OPS. By the latter stages of the season, it was Caissie and Ballesteros posting numbers that left Chicago no choice but to bring these two bats up. In 12 big league games played, Caissie hit 192, going 5 for 26 with 4 runs scored, 1 walk to 11 strikeouts. Something to work on? Those strikeouts, not so much due to plate discipline, but just the lengthy frame kind of holds him back. Caissie doesn't have the most compact movement at times for somebody who's 6'3", but we saw that power on display in spurts as Chicago chased down a wild card spot and got into the playoffs. What is Caissie's future? I think he sticks around and is a long-term answer. It's a powerful, middle-of-the-order bat with decent plate discipline, a plus arm, and a skill set that the Cubs liked enough to call up and keep at the end of this last season. I also think he's the direct replacement for our next guy, and that is Kyle Tucker. I love King Tuck. I love the summer that he gave us. I will forever be thankful for King Tuck, but I think he's gone. He was the big signing for the Cubs this last offseason and is one of only a handful of guys who truly walks as much as he strikes out in the majors. That held true in 2025. 88 strikeouts, 87 walks, and a 266 average for a guy with 22 long balls and an 841 OPS across 136 games. Tucker earned his 4th All-Star nod in a row in a season that came with nagging injuries down the stretch. Sneaky speed too, might I add. 25 stolen bags in 28 attempts. With a projected market value of 10 years for over $400 million, and this organization being loaded with outfield talent, I think Tucker does the same thing as Cody Bellinger. He finds a new home. The Cubs are up there in payroll, but why not reallocate $40 million a year to an aggregate approach where you can build up the resources across the diamond, not just in one spot? I don't see it happening, but I'm going to smile because it happened. The summer of King Tuck is not one I will soon forget. Ian Happ, contract year. This is year 3 of a $61 million deal for one of the best gloves in baseball. 4-time Gold Glover now on his perch over in left field. On offense, 250 hitter on average, at least 20 home runs in 4 of his last 5 years. The guy is consistent. Steady is probably the best word to describe Ian Happ. You know what you're getting with him. Someone who's going to do his job on offense, walk a decent amount, and someone who will hold their own in the outfield with the best of them. He's 31 years old and will likely be a first ballot Hall of Very Good player. Shout out to those who know. Do the Cubs extend him? I think so. I'd be shocked if he doesn't get a 2-year deal to keep that productivity around. This is an organization that values their defense. Think Dansby Swanson, who's had his struggles at the plate at times, but plays the shortstop position at a premier level. Nico Horner is a gifted contact hitter, but he's one of the best defensive second basemen in the league. The modern-day Cubbies value superb fielders, and Ian Happ is going to be one for the future. Pete Crow-Armstrong, blockbuster deal incoming. Not sure what it's going to be, but it's going to have to be better than the $75 million extension he was offered and turned down just this past spring. What PCA did was a classic example of a professional athlete betting on themselves, and I think it's going to pay off. A 30-30 season, 95 runs batted in, and the best defensive season we've seen out there in center in a long time later, and you're seeing why the Cubs could be considering him to be the cornerstone of their franchise. We got our first full look at PCA, and he threw a 6.0 WAR at us in 2025. A Gold Glove, blistering speed on the base paths, pop, and a sense of craving for the clutch moments all describe this five-tool athlete. I have no questions about his future as a Cub, and frankly believe he could be a candidate to be a Cub for life, even in the volatile environment that is modern-day sports in 2026. Seiya Suzuki, we rounded out with him, and he was pacing the National League in runs batted in for a while, yet still didn't get selected to the All-Star game. Still can't quite wrap my head around that one. Brought over as a complete player from NPB, the glove has struggled at times, but if you're going to make a claim for anybody on this team to be the full-time DH, it is Seiya Suzuki. His home runs have gone up each and every year. His OPS lives above 800 on average, and he's a 50 extra base hit machine. He's another guy with an expiring contract after this season. 5 years, $85 million, and this is year 5 before Suzuki becomes an unrestricted free agent. Unless the Cubs stumble out of the gate and turn into sellers at the deadline, I think Seiya sticks around. I think he inks his extension with this team, and even if he doesn't, considering the guy started over 100 games as the team's designated hitter last year, I don't think where Seiya goes or what happens with him truly impacts the future of this outfield. So what is the future of the Cubs outfield? I think it looks like this for the long haul. Ian Happ inks an extension and holds it down in left field for a couple of years. PCA is in center. Owen Casey is your right fielder. And if Seiya Suzuki doesn't stay, maybe there's a little more room for Kevin Alcantara's bat when he can't physically play in the outfield. If Happ's extension is just for, say, 2 years, does Alcantara wait around with arbitration knocking? I don't think so. So, 5 years down the road, left field will likely be open to an upcoming prospect like Ethan Conrad. So my 2-year outlook looks like this, and my 5-year outlook has this year's first-round pick taking Happ's spot, thus looking like this. If you enjoyed this video and are interested in the Chicago Cubs, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and we will catch you in the next video.